What's up, buddy? It's what Jim. This is a movie review for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that being said, let's get started. So we'll start off with the action for the good, which I think is some of the absolute best in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it was choreographed amazingly, and it was just really, really enjoyable when the action sequences came on in the film. It's easily my favorite part of the film is the action. Um, I also thought that the story was very enjoyable as well. I liked that it was sort of like an origin story for Shang-Chi, which I found quite cool. And just I was just in for the ride really. I thought the story was paced rather well, and I just had a really enjoyable time with the story for this film. I also thought that the cast was amazing as well. There weren't too many people that I already knew, but I thought that they all did their characters very well. I don't think they could have done them any better. I think they all did them very great. I think some of them were even brilliant. Um, I thought for the characters there was one character I was not expecting to see, but was a pleasant surprise. It's a character that's appeared in other MCU films, but I'm not going to spoil who the character is, as this is an unspoiler review. But I thought that the characters were great in my opinion, and I thought Shang-Chi and Katie were my favourites. I thought they had an amazing relationship together. I thought they really bounced off of each other. Great. I thought, and there were some other characters as well. I did really like the villain, which we'll talk more about in a moment. But now I'll move on to the cameos. Like I said, there is someone that has appeared in other Marvel movies, and there is also there's a couple of characters that have appeared in other Marvel movies, which I was expecting one of them because it appeared in the trailer, but the other character I wasn't expecting that at all. It was a pleasant surprise to see that character who also appeared in the end credit scene as well. Um, there were also flashbacks in this, which is not really something that Marvel films nowadays do. I don't think they've ever done really. So it was great to see some flashbacks. It was great to just see Marvel do something different with including flashbacks. They weren't anything amazing or anything, but they still were quite important to the story, which I appreciated. Now I'll move on to the villain for the story, well for the film. And I thought it's one of the better MCU villains. I thought he was amazing. He was good sometimes. He was evil sometimes. He was just a very interesting villain, and I wanted to know more about him really. Um, and I thought that the humor most of the time it landed for me. I thought it was hilarious a lot of the times, and all the jokes pretty much put a smile on my face. There were a few I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I like that, if I think that's very funny, but I do feel like the film is very funny for the most part, and that was one of the most enjoyable parts about it for me. In terms of the soundtrack for the movie, I was not expecting to be anything too amazing or anything, but it was actually a very good soundtrack, and I thought it suited the film very well. And that's really all I'm gonna say for the good. Overall, I did really enjoy this film, but I have got some negatives in the bad. So I thought it introduced too many characters in my opinion, and some of them didn't really have enough screen time because of that. I also thought there was too much humour, and sometimes it felt forced. They're the ones that didn't really land for me. And there was just too much CGI, especially towards the end of the film. There are scenes which you could tell are behind a green screen. It's pretty obvious some of the times, but I do feel like that breaks you out of the immersion a bit, and it definitely made the final act for me a bit underwhelming. And the final act was definitely the most predictable part about it. I thought until that final act, I thought it was a very unpredictable film. Wasn't sure what was going to happen next, but with the final act, I could see what was going to happen a mile away. Um, and that's really all I'm going to say for the good and for the bad. Now I'll move on to the verdict. So I recommend this film for people who like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and for people who like martial arts films for the amazing action, which was easily my favourite part of this film. And I'd rate it an 8 out of 10. But I might rate it now, looking back, I might rate it an 8.5 out of 10. That's what I'm going to do. I'm rating it an 8.5 out of 10. And I think it is one of the better films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. and I'd highly recommend to check this one out. And I'm looking forward to seeing if there's a sequel for this. I hope there is, because I really enjoyed this film quite a bit, well, quite a lot actually. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be on Wednesday. So for Wednesday, I'll be doing my top 10 Imagine Dragons songs. If you're a big bad fan of them, I'll be doing that on Wednesday. And ciao, and as words of Stanley, Excelsior, and enough said.